What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Jonathan Elias. We are here with AURN Podcast, man. This is where we talk about everything, all right? From music, pop culture, anything that's happening in our community, stuff that you need to know. And I have my co-host, my beautiful co-host right here. What's up, Star?
What up? It's Star Rock. I'm good.
You good? You doing good? You looking beautiful?
Thank you.
Yes.
Aww.
Of course, you know, I gotta show my co-host some love. And everybody, we have an amazing guest today. All right, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. We got Mike King up in the building.
What up? What up? Best rapper ever.
Yay! See, now I'm gonna it is Mike King, the icon. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say it. All right.
So it's Mike King, right? Get it? But formerly known as the Icon. So talk about your background and when you were Mike King, the Icon.
Sure. So my name was Icon, the Mike King. And, you know, when I started rhyming, I was reading, like, the Milestone comics. I don't know if y'all remember them, like Static and all those. And there was a dude who was basically the Black Superman. His name was Icon. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to steal that. You know what I mean? And then at one point I was like, oh, dude, your name is Michael King. Right. So just Mike King and just add that to the end of it. And then, you know, over time, a name like that becomes kind of unwieldy because, like, you know, I'm 40, right? Like, and someone's like, oh, I heard you rap. And if I'm in, like, a weird context, like a business context, they're like, yeah, I want to look you up. What's your name? Like, Icon the Mike King just feels childish, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, cool, let's just shorten that to my actual name, just like M-I-C rather than M-I-K-E.
Got it.
And, you know, it just makes everything easier.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And so you actually, let me get into your background because you were around during a time I feel like is not talked enough, like in the underground hip hop history. Back when, like, it was like EOW, C-Rays, Walls, Blitz, like all these dope artists. Talk about that time. Like, how did you get into hip hop and how did your journey lead you to that period of time in history? Yeah,
I mean, you know, like a lot of people in my age range, I was raised off of like Wu-Tang and Company Flow and Lyricist Lounge, like that really lyrical, hard, underground East Coast hip hop. And, you know, I always just wanted to be involved in that, right? And so when I got to Howard, and I'm like doing all of that. Yeah, of course.
Of course.
we actually used to have
Howard people cannot.
Come on.
Like, it's literally it's literally like nobody, and then Howard people. Howard.
I mean, you only feel that way because you went to the institute.
Anyway.
But nah, like we had this MC battle on campus. It was called Verbal Armageddon. It was like this Howard sponsored MC battle. And then I won that, and then I was like, all right, well, where else can I go? Then I was winning everything in D.C., and I was like, all right, well, where else can I go? And then I started coming to New York and, like, you know, meeting all those guys and just being very involved in that. And then, you know, the natural next step is, like, putting out records and so on and so forth. And so that same era, that, like, Def Jux and Rhyme Sayers era, like, all of that, I was pretty involved, like, just kind of on the outskirts of it. You know what I mean? I wasn't signed to, you know, LP or anything like that, but I was in those same sort of like circles and all that, like going to Scribble Jam, all those sorts of things. And it was just like a natural progression for what I was doing at school. You know what I mean?
You know, I have a question. Like, what do you feel like is the difference between underground rap from then and now? I feel like back then it was a lot more raw, you know, it's just grungy, you know.
Like,
now I feel like
is there still an underground rap
That's
movement?
what I was about to say.
I mean, then it was like a placement, you know what I mean? Like it was a placement and a sound. Now, because everything is everywhere and everyone can access it, it's not really that, you know what I mean? It's kind of like just the sound. It's like
sounds kind of fake. Got, you know.
But now I'm saying, like, because, you know, underground hip hop, it was like, okay, you were recreating 90s boom bap or whatever. And, you know, I don't think people are just recreating the 90s at this point. And so when you've got like Griselda, which is still that sound, but they're, you know, top tier and commercially successful, it's hard to say what underground is at this point. It's kind of just like, have you heard of it or not? You know what I mean? And so to that end, I actually purchased a website called undergroundhiphop.com, which is like, you know, it was the place you would go for that. And I think that that community still needs a place to live.
Did you save undergroundhiphop.com?
I did.
Nice.
Wow.
So they were about to go out of business, and I was like, yeah, I think I could do something about that because, you know, I own an SEO agency. And so I was looking at their SEO. I'm like, oh, here's why you guys are going out of business. Like, you lost all your traffic.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, we can reverse that. Like, we can really make this more content focused and, you know, go in that direction. And ultimately, you know, as a business, it's kind of a failure because despite the fact that I had the biggest years that it's ever seen, we still lost a lot of money. And so I'm trying to like revamp it to be more modern rather than selling records to people because who's really buying that many physical records? So I'm just trying to modernize it, make it more like a marketplace with content being the primary focus, make it more like a media company. But the whole point is that that's a community that's still out there and it exists that doesn't really have a place to live. Right. And I'm trying to be that place for them to live.
I think one of the cool things that I noticed, like, during my time, like, really hanging out with a lot of the different underground rappers back then was that how they actually got a lot of respect from some of the more, like, mainstream artists.
Absolutely.
And some of them would even, like, collaborate. Like, that spirit of, like, I'm this underground rapper, like, okay, I'm about to make this song. I'm going to reach out to, I don't know, whoever and see if we can collab. And a lot of times they would do it. Like, they would figure out a payment that worked. And I'm using this to segue into this is something that you do, right?
Sure,
like, you know, you recently released a song, Made It. You got Music Soul Child on the song. And I was telling someone that, and they were like, what? Like, it was such a big deal. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, these guys do that.
Because they know real talent.
Exactly. I mean, that record... It was such a moment for me. I'm such a huge Music Soul Child fan. I'm from Philly. He's obviously from Philly too. And I had this record. It's a record about my mom and all the things she did for me to help me so I could make it. And I was like, this record is dope as is, but can we get music? And so I reached out to Mecca, my guy, and he was like, yeah, I can get you his contact or whatever. And, you know, then we just started having that conversation. Okay, what's it going to cost? Sure, let's make it happen. And to your point, I mean, like you said, people recognize talent when they hear it. Like if you look at Run the Jewels as an example, like that is the kind of ultimate example of that, right? Like LP had been doing what he had been doing forever with Company Flow, with Def Jux, and I want to make this whole thing about me talking about, you know, Def Jux and all that. But nevertheless, he got with Killer Mike, and they were like, yo, let's make a song. And then that turned into them doing an album, and then that turned into them being like a huge hit, like, group to some degree. You know, they just sold, well, they're on tour with Rage Against the Machine. They sold out MSG 5 days straight. You know what I mean? Like, it just goes to show that it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, how you're positioned, as long as what you do is dope, other dope people are down to work with it.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
No. Go finish it.
Yeah, so I've been doing more and more collaboration. Like I just did a joint with Beanie Siegel and Freeway and PD Crack and all these guys.
And you're working on Black Thought, right? Did I hear that at some point? I don't know if I blew up the spot.
I've been trying to. He's difficult to get to.
Yeah, okay.
But you know, like I connect with these people and like I send them the track and they're like, yo, you're dope. Like you're rapping for real, you know what I mean? And you don't expect that because they're at this level, but they came from the same places you came from. Like they're people that love to rap. And when they hear dope raps, they're just like, yo, I want to write some dope raps too. It doesn't matter that they used to be down with Jay-Z or whatever. They're just like, yo, I like dope rapping. And that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like you're such an inspiration for underground rappers, you know, being in the game for so long and being able, I wanted to talk about you surprising your mom Times Square with your ad, the billboard in Times Square.
Yeah.
What's that feeling like? And, you know, like,
amazing.
you know, talk about that journey, just getting there and like
to
being
even think
able
that
to,
big.
to think that back and get there, you know, so talk about that journey.
Yeah. I think that being in the space that I'm in where I work with a lot of big companies through my agency and I see what they do and what they're trying to do and so on, it just kind of makes your worldview more expansive, right? And so, you know, I'm looking at Times Square, I'm like, yo, I can be up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again, it's just like, you pay money, you're there, right?
Yeah.
And what I wanted to do for the song was like make it as big as I could. You know, like I've never had a hit record, but I was like, it can't be that hard to make it happen. People do it every day. And so as part of that, I was like, all right, well, let's get some Times Square billboards. And we ultimately have 4 of them. We had one on 42nd and 8th. Well, it's 2 on 42nd and 8th. We had the joint on Bryant Park, like the real big one.
Wow.
And then we had the joint at the NASDAQ joint, like the one that's right there in Times Square.
Wow.
Then there's another one like on that same building to the right. And, you know, we're walking down the street. We took my kid. It was Mother's Day, right? Yeah, Mother's Day. And we took the kids to camp, that store, the toy store, for like a Mother's Day thing. And then we're like walking down 42nd Street. And I'm like, yo, Mom, look up.
Wow.
And she's like, what? She's
That's
like
so
losing
sick.
it. Yeah, she's losing it for that one. And then I'm like, yo, let's keep walking. Look up. And we just kept doing it until we got to the NASDAQ one. And she was just like losing it.
That's
and
sick.
it felt mad good for that moment to be for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I could do something and also have my kids see it so that they can understand, like, yo, you can do anything.
Right.
Like, these things are for us too. You know what I mean? And the same is true of when BET Jams played the video. I'm like sitting there with my kids and they're like, Daddy's on TV. You know what I mean? Having those moments. So it feels good, but it also just reinforces that, you know, there's nothing that we can't do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if we if we want to be in these spaces, if we want to present ourselves in this way, there's no reason we can't do it.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. So, you know, you've always been a tech guy. I feel like you were like one of the early adopters of like being a rapper, but also having your hands in other pots. So obviously tech changes, things are different now. What are some things that you are doing differently now with the rollout of your music versus like what you may have done, you know, years, like even 5-10 years ago?
I don't drop on Fridays. Like, why should I compete with the entire music industry? It doesn't make any sense to me. And, you know, there's no reason that you have to drop on Friday. And, in fact, it's easier for you to get coverage as a lesser-known person if you're not competing with Beyonce or whoever. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main thing. And then the other part of it is that the whole idea of, like, iterating on music, kind of the same way that you do in tech, where you like kind of move in that agile way where it's like you put something out, you update it, and then you just based on like what the feedback is. That's what I did with Iconic, the EP that I dropped, where it was like I didn't have any of the features, so I just put it out as is. As the features came in, I updated the record. So it creates more reasons for people to check it out. Like if you didn't just want to check it out for me, well, now Music Soul Child is on it.
Yeah.
So it gives you reasons to like go back to it. And you're seeing, you know, for a variety of reasons, people like Drake and Kanye and now Beyonce, with her having to like change the words for certain things, like updating the records. And, you know, there's no reason that the record, like I had an art teacher one time that said to me, he was like, a work of art is never finished. You just give up on it. So there's no reason that you can't like adjust things to make it better. Or if you got feedback like, yo, that verse was whack, cool, take that verse off, do a new verse. You know what I mean? And that feedback loop that you can have with your audience is something that we didn't really have when you had to like turn the record in 6 months in advance and so on and so forth. So where we're at with digital media, it creates new opportunities to be more creative. And I'm just trying to like jump on those as much as possible.
I like that you are jumping on those, you know, because I feel like a lot of older artists or artists from back when we didn't have those privileges, they're like, I ain't doing all that. You know what I mean? You know, so, you know, there are some times where we have to jump on the train, you know, before it leaves. So that's dope that you're doing that. Cause I didn't even know that was possible. Like I was like, you know, I'm so still stuck in the back, you know, back in the day when you
like you need record label money.
Exactly. And speaking about that record label money, like you're considered an indie artist, right?
Absolutely.
So what do you feel about that today? You know, like I feel like it's such a different different meaning.
You like Griselda? You did mention Griselda.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a different meaning to be an indie artist back then, you know, when we didn't have social media than it is now. What are your feelings about all that?
I've been thinking about this a lot. It's kind of like that the the record industry has kind of shifted from a business to business mindset to a business to consumer mindset. And what I mean by that is like it used to be that only the labels had direct access to these services or direct access to these distribution channels. Yeah. And now it's like anyone can do it. Yeah. Like anyone can sign up to DistroKid for $99 a year or whatever and put any record on all these DSPs. And so as a result, there's a lot of these like smaller services for anyone. Like you can get a playlisting service, you can get a PR person, you can get your videos on TV, like you just pay someone to do it. And it's democratized things to some degree, but like we were talking about offline, we still need like this layer of vetting because if anything can get through, anything will get through, right? And so I think it's cool, but it also makes it harder because everyone is expected to have some level of business acumen. And, you know, a lot of people are just artists, but they don't have the capability of, you know, being, you know, hot on TikTok because like that's just not how they're oriented. And so there's no way for them to really break through unless they find someone that will do all those things for them. Now, at the same time, you've got kids who grew up where social media was already a series of institutions. So it's like native to them. Yeah. They're like, yeah, I make skits all day just because it's fun. Oh, yeah, I also make music. And so, you know, they're able to put those things together really well and break through. But it's not as level of a playing field as it's meant to be because of the fact that, like, some of those things are just not native to certain people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I kind of jumped the gun and I was like, oh, you like Griselda. I want to segue a little bit just to talk about, like, who are you listening to now? How do you feel about the music space right now?
So I think that one of the things that people don't say enough is that, you know, if you liked stuff that was coming out in the 90s, you like stuff that came out in the 2000s, like all those artists are still making stuff. And they're all, many of them are still doing stuff that sounds like that stuff. And it's like we just forget about them like they're dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you want to continue to listen to Ghostface do Ghostface records like he did in 2000, he's still doing that. And they're still awesome. You know what I mean? So I still listen to a lot of the people that I used to listen to, but I also appreciate what's being done now. You know, like people are often shocked to hear that I'm a huge Drake fan. I think he's incredibly dope.
That is surprising.
Because lyrically he is very good. You know what I mean? He'll like, I don't really love the Nevermind record. Not because it's just singing. Like, I love R&B, but I just don't like those records. You know what I'm saying? So,
you know that I know that we know.
I was about to say, I'm not a fan of Drake's singing voice. I can't stand it.
You know that I know.
I always say that Drake raps in the voice that you use when you call a girl you just met that you're trying to holler at.
For real. For real.
But nah, I think he's a really dope lyricist. I really appreciate like his precision and concision with words. He says really dope lines. So
he said that. He was like, I really do be saying shit though, y'all. Like, don't be trying to play me.
Yeah, especially those timestamp records. Like, he goes off on those.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Anyway, so I really like Drake. You know, there's a lot of just like random guys that I'm like, oh, this guy can rap. Like, I'm just into it. But other than that, you know, it's still the guys that I've always listened to. It's gonna be Ghostface. It's gonna be like Pharoah Monch. It's gonna be like Elzai. It's gonna be all those type of like lyrical guys. Your Nas's, your Jay-Z's, and so on. But yeah, I listen to a lot of stuff. But I also listen to a lot of like R&B. Like, I'm a huge Snow Allegra fan.
Oh yeah.
Huge Her fan.
So that's your vibe.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if I could sing, none of this rap stuff would have ever happened.
Man, if I could sing, I wouldn't be here right now.
Like, I would have been Music Soul Child Jr.
For real. I would be so disgusting with it. Like,
I'm the opposite. I used to sing, and I don't want anything to do with it anymore.
You see what I'm saying? You know, this is what pisses me off.
So much talent.
Yeah.
I don't even want to use it.
Talking about I don't even want to use it. Do you hear me? That is exactly why God did not give me that talent.
Yeah, I be spinning around with like, you know what I mean, in the rain.
It'd be raining everywhere I go.
Well, this is a good moment to segue into the state of R&B right now, like,
Mhm.
because I feel like that verses with, it was a long time ago, but Ray J and company,
Ray J and friends,
Ray J and Mario and all those folks.
Lord.
I started to see a lot of conversations online about like, oh, R&B is dead
until Mario came up.
Until Mario came out, yeah. But people were like,
he went for those
What?
guys.
why was everybody trying to act all hard and what? So what do you got? What's the state of R&B right now?
I mean, on the point of R&B singers being hard, like a lot of them were hard.
I mean, Jodeci was like,
they was mad hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like there aren't enough like really strong R&B singer
singers.
people. You know what I mean? Like the people I just listed. I really love them and they can sing, right? But I feel like, a lot of these, especially the guys, especially what we saw at Versus, like they all got up and they sounded awful, except for Mario.
If you don't take care of yourself, it can affect your voice.
Yeah.
I don't know what these men do, but listen, aging, if you don't practice, because it is a muscle, you do have to practice. Drugs, alcohol, all that stuff can affect
Brandy
your voice.
told Ray J. She literally gave him
she was rightfully
like
embarrassed.
steps to follow before, and he followed not one of them.
She was rightfully embarrassed.
But I kind of disagree though. I think there are a good amount of male R&B singers. It's just they're not being accepted or like praised enough. Like you got Avery Wilson, who's like one of the sickest singers.
I'm not up on him.
Exactly, but
I love Daniel Caesar. I love Lucky Day.
But these are people that actually finally got mainstream. Lucky Day's been out like working forever.
Yeah.
Raheem Devon, I mean, he's been around for a while, but I feel like he's definitely underrated and slept on. He released a new project in May, I want to say.
Damn, I didn't see.
So,
I didn't even know that. And that's the unfortunate thing. That's why I say I think there are real good R&B singers, male singers especially out there right now. But that's not what's in. You got the
and maybe I
female R&B singers that are starting to come right back up, like Summer Walker and Jasmine Sullivan.
But maybe I misspoke, and it's probably the same situation as what I described with like the rappers. Like there's plenty of people out there, but there isn't enough focus on that right now. And that may also be a function of like how so many rappers are just doing the auto-tune thing, and they're like, all right, we don't need R&B singers on our songs and things like that. And then you've got
bring back Genuine, man.
Well, did you see what happened?
Put him away.
No.
Put him away.
Bring back Elgin Lumpkin.
You must
all right.
Or are you trying to be funny?
No,
I'm
being funny, but but
like, he was dope though at his prime.
No, but like I'm saying, like bring back that sound though,
He's
like
just
when
out of
you
shape.
would
He needs
bring
a boot camp or something.
And that's
I don't know. That dude's like a sex addict though. He's kind of strange.
I danced with him at a party once.
Oh wow!
But it was so.
Were you in the same pair of jeans?
No. No, I have to explain myself. It was so goofy the way we did it, though. It was like, went to the party, had a mutual friend introduced us, and so he and I ended up standing next to each other, and then like he put his arm around me, and then some song came out. I don't even remember what the song was. So we were literally
clearly
just
it was Pony.
No,
Right.
no, I did not grind on him.
You didn't do the body roll?
No, we were like standing next to each other, like kind of like pop lock. Like we were just like doing, it was so goofy.
Listen,
like
I would always start my intros with, "Hey, I'm Jonathan. I pop locked with Genuine." Before,
but it started with whatever the song. I cannot remember the song, but it was like I started like kind of nodding to the song, and then he started nodding with me. So we're like, he's still with his arm around me. We're both just like.
I repeat,
and
bring
then,
back Genuine.
It just turned into like, and I can't pop lock for shit, but it was a moment. It was a moment.
That's amazing. That should be your Twitter profile bio.
I pop locked with Genuine.
So, speaking of music and like R&B and stuff, like, like I said, it really depends on like what's accepted or what fans you have. So let's talk about Drake, since you like Drake, and we were talking off air about Beyonce's Renaissance. You know how Drake came with the quote unquote house sound right before Beyonce, which I think he found out that B was coming out with the whole album. It was like,
I'm sure they had a conference call.
They're both just really good at market research, and they know that dance music or house music is
I think
even
it's
though
kind of
Beyonce's album is not house, but
it has some elements.
It has elements,
right.
But Two things. I think that it kind of works like the fashion industry works, you know what I mean? Where everyone kind of gets together and says, okay, here's what we're all going to commit to. We're all going to use this sort of fabric or whatever. The other thing is that, you know, if you remember in the 80s, every hip hop song had a house remix anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that coming back.
Like it was like, like the original EDM, basically. Like if you listen to some of the old hip hop.
So why were people talking ish about
because
Drake?
They probably it's probably young people. You know where?
But then when B came out with it, so
her songs are better. You know what I mean? Like
Drake's was pretty cool.
He's making records for like Equinox and like, you know what I mean, when you're
Zara.
Like and again, like I'm a huge Drake fan. I even like his singing most of the times, but like these records, they don't really have any like soul to them. They're all like that song Passion Fruit, but if Passion Fruit wasn't that good, you know what I mean? But Passion Fruit was a dope song.
Yeah.
Like the records when he was doing that on the More Life record, all of that was hitting to me. Like these, I'm just not feeling them, and so I really wanted to.
You feeling Beyonce's Renaissance?
I really love that song Heat It. I really like the song Cuff It.
Cuff It. I love that.
There's like 4 songs on there I really love. My wife is the biggest Beyonce fan ever, so you know what I mean? I'm gonna hear those records forever. But Heat It, like we could play that over and over. I love that record.
Yeah. How you feel about it?
Oh, I love it. I really, really, really like the album. Like it's just very. I was listening to it yesterday on the way here, and I'm just on the train. I'm not that person that'll be like dancing and stuff on the train.
You was dancing on the train.
But I wanted to. I really.
She's gonna start pop locking again.
Right.
I think in choreo, like I used to dance, and I think in choreo, and this song is just. I mean, this album is like whoever does choreography right now, especially if you do like heels classes and. Oh,
they're having a ball.
They're living.
Yeah.
Like
so far we've uncovered that Star has 2 dramatic talents that she's abandoned.
You know, I'm like, I don't even know who she is anymore. Like, it's wild.
It's one of those things when you do it from when you're little, you get to a crossroads and then you're just like, is this what it's gonna be, or is it?
Did Patti LaBelle say that with her vocals?
I sang with Patti LaBelle.
Look,
wow.
And guys, thank you for joining us.
That's our show.
AURN podcast. I'm leaving.
I have another funny story. So she actually put the mic to my mouth to sing, and I ran. So
what?
The group I was in at the time, right? We were in this group. It was like kind of like a kid version of Sounds of Blackness, and so we were doing a tribute at the Beacon Theater. It was a tribute to a singer-songwriter named Laura Nero who died years ago, but she wrote for like everybody and their mama. And like so first of all, Patti LaBelle, I love her. Like she can't do nothing wrong. Like she was so
Essence?
Sweet to us. Yes, I saw
Killed
her.
it.
She was
Crip
amazing.
walked. I saw her
crip
crip walk on stage.
Walked.
Let's go, Auntie Patty.
Patti LaBelle, I know she doesn't remember me, but she's my forever auntie because she was I just remember I was 15 at the time. Anyway, we were on stage. It was the big number. And I just happened to be next to her, and then I saw her coming my way with the mic, and I just kind of slid.
She hit her with the Homer Simpson.
I had like one of my friends like
believe. First of all, I'm going everywhere with you because you just be standing next to all these people. You know what I mean?
No, I need to travel with you because you were front row at the Essence Fest. I wasn't front row.
Listen, you just got to know the right people. And just charm people.
No, you
too.
said one of your homegirls was on Sisters.
Yes,
So
2 of them actually are the main girls on Tyler Perry's Sisters.
Is one of them Novi Brown?
Yeah,
I'm actually going tomorrow.
She's coming to my house tonight.
She's coming
Novi.
So you
what's up, baby?
Tell her that I am interviewing her. We'll talk about this.
We're gonna FaceTime her. We're gonna FaceTime her after this. She's literally coming to my house tonight. She
might be at your house tomorrow during the interview. For all I know, I don't know.
She might be. We're gonna FaceTime after. Okay. But they like brought us up. You know, Essence Fest, man. Even though I work with Ebony, but I love it's all love. But Essence Fest is just so beautiful. Like to be around
really
so many
is.
Black excellent people and just live in us, and not be afraid, just like Beyonce saying, cozy, comfortable in your skin.
Oh, I love that song too.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So, that was super, super dope.
Yo, just on the subject of Black excellence, I just need to put this out here so someone can hear it. We need to work on getting me to cover a Black enterprise. I'm just saying.
That could be possible. And a lot of these businesses probably need your SEO services.
For real. For real.
I'll trade y'all traffic for the cover.
There you go.
Hey.
There you go.
Drop some of your clients just so they know.
Yeah. I mean, Wall Street Journal, Complex, Warner Music Group, JP Morgan Chase, Etsy. I don't know. The list is real long. That's a short list.
And you celebrated 8 years of
8 years, yeah.
Wow, I pull rank.
My agency is called I Pull Rank. We've been around for 8 years. We primarily do search engine optimization and content strategy work.
Hey, big ups to you on that.
Yeah,
like, congrats. That's that's something that we need to talk a little bit more about. Just like, because I didn't really know too much about it. How'd you even get into that though?
That was an accident, and it actually overlaps with my hip hop world a lot. So I was doing music full time, and in 2006 I got into a bike accident. And I needed to get a job to pay my medical bills because I didn't have insurance. It's like pre-Obamacare and everything. And so the first place to hire me was an SEO agency because of my tech background. So I've been coding since I was 12. I was like self-taught, went to Howard for computer science. And so, I basically keep these jobs until my boss would piss me off. And then I'll go back on tour.
There you go.
And then after a while, I got this job at a big multinational agency called Razorfish. And I was like, oh, if I stick with this, I could probably make some real money, right?
Yeah.
And I was in Philly. And, I'm doing SEO. And so I'm on a train with one of my friends, this guy named Dose Noun. Free Dose Noun, by the way. He got locked up for weed. It's terrible.
Wow.
Anyway, so we're on the train in Sweden because we're doing shows out there. And he's like, yo, I know you're doing that SEO thing. My cousin owns this software company. I'm like, who's your cousin? And he's like, yeah, my cousin's this guy named Rand Fishkin, who's like literally the biggest name in the space.
Wow.
And I'm like,
what?
well, that's serendipitous. You know what I mean? And so that turned into me like connecting with him and then also moving into New York because, I couldn't get a full-time job at Razorfish. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to another one of their sister agencies, get a job offer and bring it back so they have to hire me. And they still couldn't. So I moved to the sister agency in New York. Then I got really involved in thought leadership in the space. So I speak all over the world on SEO and like teach people how to do it better and everything. And then I got into a bidding war with a bunch of agencies trying to hire me. And then after all that, I was like, all right, if these dummies can run these shops, I'm pretty sure I could figure it out too.
Yeah.
And not dummies, but I felt like I was smarter. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, I started an agency 8 years ago, and nobody's died yet, and here we are.
There we go.
Dope. That is dope. Yeah, I'm digging this conversation.
Yeah.
So it's actually like I've never went to school for marketing. You know what I mean? I just said like I went to school for computer science, and being that I was trying to sell people CDs as late as like 2010, and I was successful with that, like it taught me all the things that I needed to know for marketing. And the big difference is between, that sort of business and music business is people actually have money and they'll give it to you to do things. And so, those same ideas I was learning and cultivating from doing music, I apply here and I stand out, and we're really effective at what we do. So it's been a great journey, and it's really setting me up for like what I want to do next. And what I think I want to do next is like make my version of Rock Nation, where it's like all the things I'm interested in, music and tech and media and all of that. Because I sit at a really interesting, convergence of all those things. Like I'm not just someone who can rap and like, I can make websites. Like I'm someone who can run businesses and so on. And I have a deep understanding of all this stuff. So I feel like there's an opportunity in the middle of that will come from me building a business like that. So I'm really excited to, go in that direction.
That's dope. And you have a leg up because like there's still a surprising amount of people who don't really fully understand the tech space.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And so, the
like
thing.
Me. Yeah. Let's be real.
No, and that's fine though, because like the way tech is going, everything is getting more user friendly. Like, like the technologies are crazier with artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all those sorts of things. But everything is being made easier for people to use it and, fold it around what they're trying to do. So also, so much of our world is being controlled by algorithms.
Right.
And another thing that I'm incredibly passionate about is that, you know, Black people are included in this. Because there's so many instances where a good example is like when Google Photos first came out, they misidentified a Black woman as a gorilla.
Oh.
Whoa, why does that happen? Because no Black people are in the room working on these things.
Right. Yikes.
Like these data sets are not including Black people. Like think about how often
I would have been pissed.
Exactly. We were pissed. Like, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of people who have come into the place to put safeguards to make sure that doesn't happen. But think about how often you walk into a bathroom and you try to use the automatic like faucet that doesn't recognize you. Yeah, like that is a problem. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really important to me that I'm involved in solving those sorts of problems and so on. And I feel like, you know, those are the things that I'm meant to be doing. Like getting people #1 in Google, that's easy. Like we can do that in our sleep. What's the next layer up where we can do things that are like really contributing to the world?
I know this company I worked for last year, my manager at that time, I had to help him save a file as a PDF. And I'm not.
I can do that, y'all.
That's what I'm saying. You can't be that bad.
No, I ain't that bad. I ain't that bad. It's just like the algorithm talk and all that. I honestly can't stand it. I hate it. You know, I think it's real trifling because.
Well, how do you, I'm sorry to cut you off because I feel like it's so hard now because of the algorithm to get any kind of engagement or visibility unless you pay for it.
Sure. Yeah. But that's by design, right? Because these are companies. Like, it's like we always say, like, if the product is free, you're the product, right? And so, you know, having organic reach be what it was before doesn't yield them making more money.
Exactly.
So the whole incentive was like, okay, bring your audience to us. Now we're going to monetize your audience. And so that's kind of what I was saying before about how, you know, there's no place for us when I'm talking about underground hip hop. Like, sure, we can all be on Instagram. We can pay them so our people can see our stuff. Or we can have a place that's free. And, you know, we're just bringing our stuff here. And that audience will keep coming back to find out what's the new hot stuff. You know what I mean? And so I think that speaks to two problems that are created by these channels. You know, everyone is going where the inertia of user behavior is going. You're like, okay, why should I focus on my website if everything is happening on IG? Why should I focus on my website if everything is happening on TikTok?
Right.
It's because of what we're talking about. These algorithms aren't going to let you reach your people.
Exactly.
What you should be doing is really building up your website to be a place that people want to come back to and come to regularly. You should be making your content, putting it in that place, and using these other channels to drive people back to you, building up your mailing list so you can reach them for free forever.
Yeah.
But, you know, no one talks about that. They just talk about, well, how you going to get to 1 million followers? Otherwise, I'm not paying attention to what you're doing.
And followers don't even matter as much because if you're not getting that engaged, you can have 1 million followers and only 3 people engaging.
I literally see that, and the people, some of these people that do have the 1 million followers, literally they're like 80% of their followers don't see their content until they, you know, pay for something, which is real trifling to, you know, if you.
Yeah, I'm not trying to subscribe to my audience.
Right.
You know
like, that you organically like, you know, received. That's so wild to me.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
And again, we brought these people to these channels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so if we think about how this all matured, right? Like we all started on like Friendster, then we went to MySpace, and you know, you cultivated your audience on MySpace. You had your top 8, you know what I mean? But MySpace,
which I got into a lot of
arguments. I was going to say that caused a lot of drama.
So many.
That top 8.
Why'd you take me out your top 8?
Right.
Look, I was like, damn, was there a notification? How'd you know?
This guy like broke up with me by taking me out of his top.
Wow.
Damn.
That's the original ghosting.
The original. Damn.
But nah, then we went from there, and MySpace was more kind of utopian in that, you know, everyone saw everything, right?
Yeah.
You did the newsletter join, and then like everyone responded to you and so on, right? And then we moved to Facebook, and
you just gonna skip Black Planet?
Well, Black Planet was before all of that.
Yeah. True.
And I mean, come on, nobody was using Black Planet the way you were supposed to use it.
Definitely
Like,
not.
Black Planet was a sex menu.
I was a naughty boy on Black Planet.
Black Planet is the first place I ever saw someone's penis online.
Wow.
in my inbox, and I didn't ask for it.
Listen.
There used to be people that would just literally just send a dick pic just to as many women as possible.
Yeah, I was very
and you would
see which
all
one's
the
gonna
names
stick
on the list that they sent it to. Like, really?
Damn, wait,
crazy.
you could see all that?
Yeah, so there was Black Planet, Asian Avenue.
Right.
There was, there's one for everybody.
Yeah.
And those still exist,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Facebook, and then, that's when we started getting to this algorithmic life where it's like, cool, all right, well, you brought everybody here to your Facebook page, and now you can't reach them.
Mm-hmm.
But we all knew, like, well, everybody's there. We've got to reach them. And so my whole point here is that you can't thrive in that way. Like, if you have to always pay for your audience, if you can't always connect with these people, that's just going to be a cost that continues to grow. Because the way these advertising platforms work is they're all auctions, right? And so those prices will continue to go up because people are all competing for that same space, those same eyeballs. So it doesn't really make sense for that to be the only way you reach your audience.
Like, people are more hip to, like, Google AdSense and not AdSense, Facebook ads and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. But to bring it back to your music, and you had a show last night.
Yep.
What do you have coming up in the near future?
I got a few shows coming up in the Northeast. What I'm mostly trying to do right now is just build up the audience from Massachusetts to DC, because those are all easy places to get, and I'm a dad, so I got to be able to get back home pretty easily. Right. And really what I want to do is kind of change the model for how underground hip-hop shows go. I think one of the things that this next generation has done a lot better is get back to, like, the party focus of things. And with our generation, we kind of split it in half, where it's like you have parties, you have hip-hop shows. I think we need to make those things one thing. And what I really want to do, because one of the problems I have with underground hip-hop shows is, like, it'll be 50 acts on the bill. And that's not a good experience for anybody. Right. You know what I mean? It's not a good experience for the rappers. It's not a good experience for the audience. It's a decent experience for the promoters, because the whole play is like, get me 50 people. I know each one of them will bring 10, and we'll have a 500-person audience. Right. But that's a complete turnstile, right? It's like, the first people rock, their people leave, and then by the time the headliner goes on, it's like 20 people left. Yeah. So what I want to do is something that's like 4 to 6 acts, a proper party DJ, like a Rich Medina or somebody like that, so that we're serious about the party aspect of it. And then open bar for the first hour. Woo. So, like, people show up on time. Yeah. And then, like, make it more like a concert, like have set pieces, like when you walk in the door in, like, the lobby area, there's some interactive situation there. Nice. So, like, it's a whole experience that's themed every time we do it. And then, like, take that on the road. So it's like, you have fun the whole time, and it's not just, 500 dudes doing acapellas. Like, it's a good show with great acts, where it's like half of them you never heard of, but we vetted them, we know they're ill on stage, and then half of them are people that you would pay money to see. Yeah. So it's like a really dope experience.
I know it's always like a running joke, like in, like, the early 2000s at hip hop events, how it was always like a sausage fest. Yeah.
I mean, it was like that last night. It was like my wife, her friends, and a couple other folks, and then a bunch of wolves trying to, like, jump on them. Yeah, I mean, like, I want it to be, first of all, I want women and, people of all genders to feel comfortable and confident coming into the space and feeling like, I'm going to have fun here. I'm not going to be, like, overly harassed. And the fact that it's not like that is largely why women don't come. And so I want it to be just like a dope experience. Like, I don't want it to be the sausage fest. I don't want it to be, 500 people rapping over some random old, primo track, and then being like, yo, cut the beat. Yo, you got to hear these bars. Like, no, we don't. No, we don't. And, I used to do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the other thing. The sound is so bad at those events. Oh, yeah. Like, turn it off so you can hear these bars. You know what I'm saying? But I want it to be, a good experience through and through, and something that you're glad you went to, not just like, oh, you drug me out to another one of these underground rap shows.
Right. Dope.
That's real.
We got a lot of gems today.
We did.
Yeah.
Look, I like it. No, this is really, really dope.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having
in.
me. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, there y'all have it. We had gems dropped by Mike King. Hey, I really, really appreciate you for coming. But I hope that you guys definitely appreciated it and also enjoyed it, because the next episode that we have somebody really, really big coming, and we're super excited. But I'm not going to tell y'all yet. All right, we're going to be here every month, once a month, okay? So make sure you check out AURN Podcast, and we appreciate y'all. All right, peace.